Okay, hi everyone. Hope you can hear me. Welcome to the MSA Monthly Connect session. And today we have a guest speaker, Michelle, with us as well. So, firstly, I'd like to do the acknowledgement of country in which this meeting takes place. And we will be beginning the session now. So, I am today's host, and I am currently a cloud and AI platform specialist at Microsoft. So before we begin, we're gonna just give a quick overview about what the Learn Student Ambassadors at Microsoft is. So all students are able to apply to the Microsoft Student Ambassadors program, where you can amplify your impact and establish yourself as a mentor and leader in your community. So you get to be a part of different events, be a part of the Imagine Cup, and also help other other students learn more about Microsoft and be a part of the Microsoft community as well. And if you want to learn or get certified with more free resources or build anything on Azure as well, you can go to learn.microsoft.com, where you can get access to free student certifications, Azure for Students, a GitHub Student Developer Pack, and VS Code as well. You can also learn about the different career options that are available for you, and learn through that as well. And all the videos from today's session will be uploaded on Michelle Sanford's YouTube channel. So if you missed the session or you want to rewatch it, you can always rewatch it on YouTube. And if you also want to get access to any Microsoft sources, any newsletters, feel free to scan this QR code, and you'll be able to get the latest Microsoft articles, documentation, and events as well. So happy, if you guys want to take a minute and scan this, happy to wait on the slide for a bit as well. Ooh. And if you want to make sure and get updates of any of our MSA sessions, both in person and online, feel free to join our Facebook and LinkedIn groups. So you will always be up to date about what is coming up for MSA Sydney. Okay, amazing. So today we have Michelle Mancini, who is the Senior Business Strategy Manager for AI Business Systems, and she will be presenting about how students can use and create their LinkedIn brand in this age, and how to become visible in the industry and on LinkedIn, and build up a reputable history that sets students up to be employable. So this is what our session will be about today. So the session, Michelle will be talking to us for around 20 to 25 minutes, and then we will be going on to Q&A as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask those questions as well. So yeah, happy to pass it on to Michelle. Feel free to give an intro about yourself, and then we can begin the session.
All right, thanks, Saanvi, and thank you for inviting me to talk about personal branding and how that applies to LinkedIn. It's a lot to cover, but we'll try to get through it in 20 minutes. Can you just go to the next? I've got a next one there. Thank you. So my name is Michelle Mancini. I am based in Sydney, and as Saanvi said, I'm part of the Corp strategy team. I'm part of the Corp strategy team, where we are responsible for creating and executing and rolling out the strategy for, in my case, unified success worldwide. It's a really fun and interesting role, and a little bit different to the technical roles that you would normally expect at Microsoft. I put a QR code there for my LinkedIn. Please feel free to connect if you want to. And also, if you have any questions about today's session, you are more than welcome to send me a message, and I will gladly help as much as I can. I'm also the career development lead for women at Microsoft, where we look at mentorship and coaching, and we have a speaker series where we get people to come talk to us. And I am a mum of 3 kids, ranging from, they're not kids anymore, ranging from 20 to 25 years old. So I understand all the challenges and all the things that you are going through, because they are going through it at the same time. So we can go into the session, and we can start to speak about what personal branding is. So before we get into the LinkedIn stuff and how do we set up and what do we need to do with LinkedIn, I thought it would be good if we talked first about what is your personal brand. And I've got here that your personal brand is what other people say about you when you are not in the room. And I want to tell you a story. So 2 years ago, we had a breakfast at Microsoft, and for all our partners. So there were about 50 people there. And it's great because you get to see people that you've known in the industry for 10, 20 years, and it's good to catch up with everyone. I love the in-person events. And a woman that I don't know that well walked up to me. So we met about once or twice before. She walked up to me and she showed me a necklace. She said, "I want to show you my necklace." And it was a gold necklace with a stiletto high heel pendant on it. And she said to me, "Every time I wear this necklace, I think of you." And that, that was very sweet. And I realized that was part of my brand. It's not something that I intentionally set out to be part of my brand, but normally when I go out to work or at events, I wear high heel shoes, and I'm very tall. So I'm about 6'2" in the heels, so I tower above everyone. And so it was interesting that is what she connected to me. And so we all have a personal brand, whether you know it or whether you like it or not. But the question then is, are you intentionally setting that brand, or are you letting other people decide for you what your brand is? But then if we think about your personal brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room, it's not always possible for you to influence how people think about you, because people have their own opinions. They base it on their own experiences, their own insecurities, their own strengths, their own life stories, and they put their own spin on it. So we don't really have control over what other people think about us. But then what can we do? So can we go to the next slide, please, Saanvi? So what can we do when we don't have control about other people think about us? And the way that I think about it is, you are the brand. The way that you dress, the way that you talk, the way that you interact with people, the way that you show up at work, the way that you show up at uni, all of that is your brand. You are the brand. And it's less of what other people think about you, but it's more of what you think about yourself and what you want to be known for and what you want to be known for. And I think it's very important that we be authentic here, because it's so easy in the corporate world to try to be something that you think other people expect you to be. But you can be truly authentic. You can be a super technical redhead wearing crazy colors, and that is part of your brand. And so you really need to know that you can own your own identity and you can own your own story, still in a professional environment, and let that shine through, because I think that means a lot. And we'll talk about that when you go on LinkedIn also, that people can really see your personality and see who you are. And it's also fun for you then to create your brand in that setting. So the thing, if we go to the next one, thanks. So what I would then say to you is, when you think about how you want to show up, before we go and we show the rest of the world who we are, you need to have a really clear view on who you are and what you stand for before you can create that persona online. And so I would highly recommend that you take the time before you go set up your LinkedIn profile or before you go change your LinkedIn profile. And also just not just with LinkedIn, but also how you want to show up in interviews and how you want to show up at work if when you start to work or if you already have work that you do. Think about who you are at your core. What's your values? What's your strengths? What's your experiences? And really own your story. And you can own your story and all the things that happen to you across your life to open doors for you and to connect with other people. And so it's really important to be your true self and be authentic. The other thing that I think is also very valuable when you create your brand or when you think about who you are and how you show up is to create your life statement. And all of these things will change over the years and as you evolve and as you grow. But a life statement is something that you can anchor to, and that when you show up in different places, that's something that you can live up to, or that you can, that's what you project to the outside world. And the example that I got there, that's my life statement is I want to leave everyone I meet in a better place. And that is not just at work, that is with my kids and my family, with people I meet on the street, with at work, with customers, with my colleagues. For me, that means that's how I would like other people to see me, is that I'm there to help, I'm there to better the situation, I'm there, as someone that they can count on. And that is also something that I then try to take into if we now talk about the LinkedIn profile specifically, how I want to show up online, not just in person and not just at work. So if we go to the next one, Sam. Oh, one back. Thank you. So thinking about your LinkedIn profile, LinkedIn is not your brand. It is your first impression. So you need to be clear on how you want to show up on LinkedIn and how you want other people to perceive you for the first time when you think about setting up your LinkedIn profile and what that would look like. And keep in mind that most companies, what they use LinkedIn for. So they use it to look for candidates, so to go search for people, candidate if there's open roles. Everyone uses it to review the candidate or review the person before an interview. And that could be your first interview, but it can also be your interview when you've been in a company and maybe you're just changing roles. And then also we use it a lot to assess credibility. So when you meet someone for the first time in a meeting, or you meet a customer, or and you want some more background and some more information about them, we use LinkedIn to go have a look and see, where they've worked before, how much experience they have, how long they've been in the industry. And so keep all of those things in mind when you do your LinkedIn profile, because it's not Facebook. It needs to be deliberate, and it needs to be, you need to put some thought about it. Is what do you want your first impression to be when someone opens it, potentially while you are in a meeting with them, to get a better understanding of your background and your values and your passion and what do you stand for. The next one, thanks. And I'm not going to tell you about online, how to live and how to be in an online world and on social media. I'm sure you can teach me a thing or two. But I wanted to give you some LinkedIn specific strategies or things to think about, some do's and don'ts. So be very clear. Be clear what you want to be known for. Be clear in your passions. Show on LinkedIn all the interests that you have that's related to your role and related to this personality that you want to show to, what you want to be known for. Don't just put your title, put what your passion is, put what you are interested in, what you're trying to achieve. And it doesn't all have to be, when you just start out, it takes a while for you to build up your profile and get all your experience in. So even when you just start up and you don't have a lot of experiences to put in, and you maybe don't have a lot of, you would have some education and some qualifications in there, but all of those things you build up over time. But you can still put out there what you are interested in and what you are working towards, what projects you've done and what you enjoy doing. So if there's any big project at uni that you worked on, put that in and give a bit of a background about, overview of what that's about, so that people can get to understand what you are interested in and what you are good at. And be human. When you write on LinkedIn or you put something on LinkedIn, write it in the way like you speak. You wouldn't, when you get an award at uni or at work, Employer of the Month, or you get a recognition for a project that you've done on uni, you wouldn't go home and say to your friends or to your parents, "I'm deeply humbled and honored that I won this award." It's just cringy. So when you put something on LinkedIn, you can, say, and you need to show when you win these things and when you get your achievements, it's important to show that. But just, say, I've worked so hard towards this for the last 5 years or the last 6 months, and I'm so excited to share that this, I'm really proud of myself. This is what I've achieved. And then be visible. Have a photo. Have a clear headshot of what you look like. I also saw when I went to look at LinkedIn now, they show when last you've updated your photos, so people can see. Not a problem for you, but for for people like me, if you haven't updated your photo for 10 years. But have a clear photo, professional photo. Don't have, my daughter, the first one she uploaded, she had her arm around a friend. I'm like, that's not appropriate for LinkedIn. Change your banner. There's a banner at the top. Change your banner to something that shows your personality and something that matches your profile photo and your personality. And then when you share things or when you like things, be intentional about what you want to share and what you want to like. You don't have to go in there and just try to get as many likes and be as active and in everyone's face all the time. That's not what it's about. People don't normally track how active you are. Are you in there every day? Are you posting every week? You don't need to, you don't have to build a following like you would do in other social media trends where you have to post something every week, and that also can get annoying to other people. So be very intentional about what you share, and that also that forms part of what you are interested in, and make sure that it's valuable. So don't just share stuff for the sake of it. And then comment on other people's posts, when they've done something well, or when you're proud of them, or impressed by them. I have gone through, and on the next slide, I don't know this person. I've just went and I did a search to find a good example. And this is not a perfect example, but I was really impressed with Christopher's LinkedIn profile, and I thought I just went to look for a student in America. I thought I'll go where hopefully none of you know this person. But you can see there that he's got a clear photo of his face. He changed his banner to the city life, so you can tell that he's into city life, busy life. That's the vibe that you get around him. So you can tell, how much you can tell from a photo, but you can tell a little bit about his personality. And then he wrote a nice section there about what he's interested in and what he's good at. You can see that he did do that with ChatGPT, which is fine. But my suggestion would just be remove the, maybe some of the icons, and Chat gives you those dashes. Remove the dash so that you can see it's not so blatantly ChatGPT that wrote that. But he's updated his skills, his activities are very relevant to where he's trying to find where he's working and what he studied. And he's got some projects that he did there at uni where he gives more information about what that was about, so that people can get a sense of where he's got a little bit of experience, and what his focus and what his goal in life is. And then he has his education there. So I thought I'll just put an example of what a good profile could look like. And then I've used Chat on the next one. Chat and I have put together a little checklist on what you should look out for when you set up your profile or when you go to update your profile. I'm not going to go through all of this now, but it gives you a good guide. I'm sure you get the slides afterwards to just have a quick run through of those and see what maybe where you can make some changes or make some improvements. Just a little checklist that you can use afterwards if you want to. And then the last thing I want to leave you with is just on the next slide is have fun with it. And don't be afraid to let your personality shine. Don't be afraid to be who you are. And this saying here, I think it's very important, not just for your personal branding and not just for how you show up on LinkedIn and all the other areas, but to really know who you are and what you stand for. And your thoughts are super important, and your thoughts about yourself, because your thoughts become your beliefs, and your beliefs becomes your action, and your action becomes your reality. And so when you go through that process to think about what do you want to be, how do you want to show up, what brand would you be proud of? Being very mindful of your thoughts, and that you always guide your thoughts into that positive area, and that positive version of yourself. Because if you think it enough, you will believe it, and then that will become your reality. And then you are the brand, and you become the brand, and your brand will grow with you, as you grow. So that's all I wanted to share with you, is just have fun with it and be authentic. And I'm happy to take any questions if you have any.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Michelle. That was really, really good. Thank you so much for all your insights, all your tips, and your advice. Yeah, now we will be opening the floor to Q&A. So if anyone has any questions or anything, feel free to ask Michelle about them. You can ask me, Michelle. We have another Michelle here as well. So if anyone has any questions, please ask them on the chat, or feel free to come off mute and ask those questions as well. Yeah. Okay, I don't think anyone has any questions. Um, but we've also on the chat, we're encouraging if you guys want to share each other's LinkedIns, feel free to do that in the chat as well, so that you're able to grow your connections through today's session as well. But I have a question for Michelle. How can students, because LinkedIn sometimes tends to have a lot of tends to sometimes have a lot of noise, and it can have sometimes not the most important information. How can students focus on streamlining and understanding what is most important for them to help build their career and go forward in their journeys?
There is a lot of noise on LinkedIn. Um, I think it's good if you spend some time to find people in your industry or in the on the topics that you are interested in, and follow them, and because there's a lot to learn also on LinkedIn and from people. And it's just like any other social media, I guess. You follow people and you unfollow the ones that you don't find valuable. So I would just go look for experts in the area and in the industry and people that you connect with on a personal, not actually connect with on a personal level, but that resonates with you, what they say, um, and follow them.
Okay, amazing. We also have another question in the chat from Michelle. And she's asking, how did you know what you wanted to do for your career? Is the job you have now what you thought when you went in when you were in uni?
I didn't even know this job existed, what I have now when I was in uni. Um, and I had no idea what I wanted to do when I was in uni. I studied information systems, and I accidentally fell into my role. I wanted to be a fashion buyer actually, and my dad said no. There's no money in that. Go study IT. And so I studied IT, and I'm very very glad for his guidance back then. And then I started doing a graduate program where we did a Six Sigma project. It was nothing to do with IT. And at the end of it, the CEO asked me if I wanted to help them implement the ERP system. And so that's how I ended up in my first job. And through that, doors just opened. So none of it was planned. I think it's good to have a plan because it gives you direction, but you'll see that everything just, things pop up where you don't even know that exist at the moment. And so I think it's very important, and this is back to the LinkedIn thing also, to have the contacts, and your network is super important in for your career, and for people to know what you stand for and what's important to you, because if they know that and you don't just leave that up to chance, then when something comes up that's related in that to that industry or to that role, or that skill that you have, then they will think of you, and they will contact you, and that's how opportunities open up. Sorry, I saw briefly a hand go up and go back down again. Was there another question?
Okay. We have two questions. Priya, if you want to get off mute, and then we can get a roommate to ask the question as well.
Um, yeah, hi. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
hi, Michelle. So thank you so much for running the workshop. So I found it really informative. I just had a question. So I see that you were emphasizing like the importance of building your network, like in person and then on LinkedIn as well. As a student, how would you say like are good ways to sort of leverage the network you have built? Like it's easy to sort of just keep adding connections, but like on LinkedIn, like is it because I'm still sort of learning etiquette on LinkedIn and like professional sort of ways to behave. So is it just normal to sort of reach out to someone that you is like in the field of your interest and just ask them to like ask them about their sort of journey and if any questions you have, or is there like a way to go about that, or any other tips you have? Sort of.
That's a really good question, and I think different people will behave differently. You can definitely, I mean, just going out and connecting to people at random that you don't know, normally you won't get a acceptance when you do that. But I think it's if you write a thoughtful note, and if someone wrote a note to me and say, I've been following your journey, or I'm really interested in the path that you've been on, would you mind sharing some insights, or I have a couple of questions? I would like to connect. 100% I will connect to that person, and I will try to help where I can. But you also don't need to feel like it's something that needs to be rushed. You just need to be open. Be open and, keep your eyes out and when you have the opportunity, connect to people. So it's good to, when you are at events or, for instance, like, the situation that we have now. I'm inviting you to connect. You came off mute, you spoke. So, if you would send, and you don't have to do this because I know, because I'm saying this now and I know you are, but, if you would have sent me a message and said, we spoke in the workshop and it was so good to meet you, I would accept that connection. And that's over time, organically, you will build your network and it's not just about building a network for the sake of building a network. It's also being the person that you want other people to be for you. So be helpful and reach out and, help other people where you can. It will become more and more, there'll be more and more opportunities where you can help other people the further you get in your career. So just keep on doing that, and then other people will do the same for you.
Thank you. Thanks, Michelle.
And Ekume, do you want to get off mute as well and ask your question?
Okay. I'm currently furthering my career in mechatronics engineering. I'm from Africa, by the way. So I'm trying to build my network around international globe. Is there kind of like a strategy to pinpoint using my LinkedIn account? Thank you.
Sorry, can you just repeat? You said you're from Africa and there's some international.
Yeah, I'm trying to build my network around the international layout, like my connection around the international layout. I'm suggesting if you have a strategy for me to like get rid of that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm from South Africa, as you can probably hear. And that's also something that I think, on LinkedIn, when you look for people to follow, you can also choose their location. So if you want to have people from different countries, if that's important to you, then you can build out a little, do a structure, build a network plan and say these are the countries where you want people to connect with, where you want people connections from those countries. And then when you look for people, you can, in the industry, you can look for people in that country. And then same, send them a message and explain this. Say to them that you are from Africa, you study in Australia now, but you would like to build a connection with people in your home country or in another country, and what your reasoning is. And I can't see that people will, not respond to that. And a lot of the times, if people don't respond to you, a lot of the times they are not on LinkedIn that often. And so sometimes I just don't see it. So if you don't get disheartened if you don't get an acceptance or you don't get a reply to your message, just keep on going. And also, this is also something that will grow over time because the world is so small now that we get the opportunities to work with so many different people, that your international connections will grow as well. And yeah, so that's my advice there. I see there's a question about LinkedIn Premium. I don't know what LinkedIn Premium costs for students. I know that it's pretty expensive. If I don't know if students get discount. LinkedIn Premium is great if you, I think if you have a business or if you need to get a big following, it helps a lot when you share posts to reach a broader audience. It also lets you see who viewed your profile. I don't know that I don't think it's not necessary. It's a nice to have. It's not necessary to have a good network. It's not necessary to be found on LinkedIn, for roles. So if you get a discount as a student or you have the means, by all means do it. But I personally don't have it, and I don't think it's necessary to be successful on LinkedIn.
Yep, I would agree to that as well. I feel like LinkedIn Premium obviously does offer a few other extra features, but I feel like as a student, I don't think you need I don't think you need those features, especially if you're just trying to connect or reach out to people. And as Michelle also mentioned, if sometimes someone might not read your message, maybe gently you can follow up with them as well to maybe bring it to their attention again. And I think just try to meet as many people relevant to your industry and connect with them. And I think that's most important, which you can do via LinkedIn. We also have one more question from JV. So if you want to unmute yourself and ask the question.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a question on for LinkedIn. So thank you for answering for the previous questions. Really appreciate that. About like a year ago, I was pretty new on LinkedIn, and then eventually I sort of built myself up. So like my question would be, the posts that I have on LinkedIn are mainly related to like my studies at UQ and the research project that I work with, and especially like within the research department, and also the clubs that I'm associated with. Is that like a good enough of an indication, or do I have to do more to show like a potential employee that I'm much more engaged? Because
No.
it can get very busy sometimes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. And I've done so many interviews and had to, go look at so many profiles. If I had to interview someone early in career and go, and had to assess if they are suitable for the role, and I go to a LinkedIn page and I see the projects that they've worked on and some clubs that they are involved with, that will be good enough for me. It shows that you're interested. It shows that you care. It shows what you are interested in. It shows that you do more than what you expected, that you have ambition, and there's other interests that you have, and there's other jobs that you're doing, and any part-time job, any volunteering, anything like that, good on that. But that sounds to me like a really good LinkedIn profile, Jerry. I don't think, I think that's good.
Thank you.
Amazing. So if we don't have any other questions, I'm also just taking a look at the chat to see if we have any final questions or anything else. Yeah, so if we don't have any questions, please fill in the survey. Just scan the QR code and fill in the survey to give us any feedback about the session and what you guys might want to look at our next sessions as well. And yeah, I think that was it for today's session. So thank you so much for attending. Thank you so much, Michelle, for coming in as a guest speaker and giving us all your insights and advice. Yeah, thank you so much, and we will see you at the next session in June. If you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to put them in the chat as well.
And also feel free to reach out on LinkedIn if you want. I'm quite happy to answer any questions or have a quick look at your LinkedIn profile. I'm happy to help where I can. All right. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you.